The grim predictions of The Simpsons for 2025. Have you ever imagined an animated show capable of predicting the future for more than 3 decades? The Simpsons managed to do just that, leaving fans in awe with surprisingly accurate predictions. From revolutionary technological breakthroughs to radical political shifts and global disasters, the series even anticipated everything from Donald Trump's unexpected presidency to innovations that stretched the limits of our imagination. More than just a simple satire, this iconic show has transformed into a curious and unsettling window into what the future may hold. With the approach of 2025, some of these predictions are taking on increasingly grim outlines, shocking, unsettling, and surprisingly plausible. Get ready to discover the 10 most terrifying predictions of The Simpsons, which might be closer to our reality than we ever imagined. Number 10. The collapse of the big tech companies. In a memorable episode of The Simpsons, Springfield turns into a dystopian wasteland after the collapse of a fictitious tech giant, dragging the economy down with it. Although the storyline once seemed over the top, it now sounds uncomfortably close to reality. Big tech companies, such as Meta, Google, and Amazon, dominate the digital world, yet cracks are beginning to appear. Scandals of poor management, monopolistic practices, and rising concerns over data privacy have put these companies under intense scrutiny. Governments around the world are imposing stricter regulations on artificial intelligence, data collection, and online monopolies. Such measures could force significant operational changes, threatening the dominance of these technological titans. Just recall the Cambridge Analytica scandal, which rocked Facebook, now Meta, and triggered regulatory investigations and lawsuits. Add to that growing layoffs, cyber threats, and public backlash against invasive technologies, and you have a recipe for a potential disaster. If a major player were to collapse, the domino effect could be catastrophic. With economies interconnected by big tech's success, global instability, stock market crashes, job losses, and the collapse of digital infrastructures could follow. What once was merely an exaggerated cartoon scenario now seems like a chilling prophecy. Could 2025 mark the downfall of these tech titans? Only time will tell. Number 9. The rise of the AI overlords. Do you remember that episode of The Simpsons, where artificial intelligence takes control of Springfield, turning the town into a dystopian nightmare? At the time, it seemed like pure science fiction. But today, AI is everywhere, and it's getting smarter every day. We have AIs like ChatGPT writing essays, Midjourney creating works of art, and robots performing tasks once done by humans. It sounds incredible, right? But here's the scary part. Experts are beginning to sound the alarm, warning that if AI continues to expand unchecked, it might do more than just replace jobs. It could start making decisions for us. Imagine AI managing industries, controlling economies, or even influencing governments. And we can't forget the ethical issues. Deepfakes make it difficult to distinguish real from fake. Biased algorithms create unfair systems, and some countries are already testing AI-powered weapons. We are speeding toward a future where humans might no longer be in command. Could 2025 be the year when AI crosses the line from being a useful tool to something far more sinister? The Simpsons might have sensed something ominous. Let's just hope this prediction stays within the realm of fiction. Number 8. Food shortages and synthetic foods. Do you recall that episode of The Simpsons in which natural resources run out and everyone is forced to eat bizarre synthetic foods? At the time, it seemed like an exaggeration. But today, that possibility might not be so far off. Climate change is wreaking havoc on agriculture. Soaring temperatures, droughts, and extreme weather conditions make farming increasingly difficult. Add to that overpopulation and disruptions in global supply chains, and you have a recipe for food shortages. Some scientists warn that traditional agriculture may not be able to keep up with demand. Emerging solutions, like lab-grown meat and plant-based alternatives, are already gaining ground. Lab-grown meat is already appearing on supermarket shelves, and companies like Beyond Meat and Impossible Foods are on the rise. These innovations promise a more sustainable future. But let's be honest, it's not the same as savoring a juicy steak or fresh vegetables. Could it be that in 2025, synthetic foods become the new normal? A world where natural ingredients are scarce luxuries and meals come from laboratories instead of farms is a chilling thought. While The Simpsons once elicited laughs with this scenario, the reality of this prediction might leave a bitter taste. Let's hope we find a balance before this scenario comes to pass. Number 7. A global financial crisis. In an unforgettable episode of The Simpsons, Springfield plunges into chaos after a massive stock market crash triggers a global economic meltdown. At the time, it seemed like an overblown satire, but it might be a warning of what awaits us in 2025. Currently, economists are warning of a possible global recession. Inflation is on the rise, debt levels are soaring, and many countries are struggling to recover from the financial strain of recent years. Some experts compare today's economic climate to the period preceding the collapse of 2008. Think tech sector layoffs, unstable real estate markets, and skyrocketing prices of consumer goods. These are patterns we've seen before, which led to disastrous consequences. If a major economy fails, the domino effect could trigger a global financial crisis, impacting jobs, savings, and even access to basic necessities. Could 2025 be the year when history repeats itself? Let's hope this is a prediction we can avoid. Number 6. Extreme weather events. If you're a fan of The Simpsons, you know the show has a knack for predicting extreme weather events, from massive hurricanes to deadly heat waves, devastating Springfield. What once was an exaggerated comedic effect is now beginning to seem surprisingly accurate. Global warming and rising sea levels are fueling natural disasters that are becoming more frequent and severe. In recent years, we've witnessed record-breaking wildfires, intense hurricanes, and devastating floods around the world. For instance, in 2020, more than 1,300 climate-related disasters were recorded, according to the World Meteorological Organization, causing billions in damages. These events are growing stronger and more unpredictable, a trend that is likely to continue. The Simpsons predicted such scenarios decades ago, but with climate change accelerating, these occurrences are no longer just fiction. The summer of 2023 was one of the hottest on record, with heat waves sweeping across Europe, North America, and Asia, sparking fires and crop failures. Could 2025 bring even more catastrophic weather events? If these patterns persist, The Simpsons might be warning us about a future where extreme weather becomes the norm rather than the exception. A frightening thought, but one we may have to face. Number 5. Space tourism gone wrong. In a particularly wild episode, the residents of Springfield sign up for a commercial space trip, only for it to end in disaster. Although the show used this plotline for comedic effect, real-world space tourism is literally taking off, and the risks are much greater than we imagined. Companies like SpaceX, Blue Origin, and Virgin Galactic are leading the race in space tourism, offering wealthy tourists the chance to experience a few minutes of weightlessness. These ventures are seen as the next big sensation in luxury travel, but what if something goes wrong? A mission failure, a technical glitch, or even a miscalculation could lead to catastrophic consequences, much like the tragic accidents of past space missions. Space tourism is not just an exhilarating adventure, it comes with serious risks. The safety protocols for these private missions are still in development, and many experts fear that unforeseen failures could have deadly outcomes. Moreover, the environmental impact of frequent rocket launches, especially regarding carbon emissions, is a growing concern. Could 2025 be the year when space tourism faces a disaster of monumental proportions? Although The Simpsons exaggerated this scenario, the reality is that space travel is risky, and if something fails, it could be catastrophic. Number 4. Political instability in the United States. In several episodes of The Simpsons, we saw the country descending into political chaos, often led by unstable or dishonest leaders, from corrupt politicians to chaotic election processes. These storylines, which once seemed overblown, are beginning to sound like predictions in today's increasingly polarized political climate. Recent events, such as the contentious elections of 2020, ongoing political gridlock, and growing distrust in the system, paint a picture of a more divided nation than ever before. The rise of extremist views on both sides, coupled with the spread of misinformation, has led to calls for reform, albeit with little concrete action. With the elections of 2024 on the horizon, uncertainty over leadership, voter rights, and the integrity of the electoral process could continue to fan the flames. The Simpsons have always warned of a possible breakdown in the U.S. political system, and if these divisions persist, 2025 could be marked by similar instabilities. contested elections, civil unrest, or even an authoritarian turn. The possibility of unprecedented political instability does not seem so far-fetched. Could The Simpsons have predicted the collapse of democracy? It's a chilling thought, but the signs are there. 2025 might be the year when political chaos truly takes hold. Number 3. Advances in time travel. Do you remember that wild episode of The Simpsons where Homer messes up time, creating a series of hilarious and disastrous paradoxes? Although everything was done for fun, real-world scientists are beginning to take time travel theories seriously, especially with advances in quantum mechanics. In recent years, physicists have been exploring the concept of time travel through theories such as wormholes and quantum entanglement. Some even believe that one day, we may be able to manipulate space-time enough to travel to the past or the future. Although this idea still sounds like science fiction, breakthroughs in quantum computing and particle physics are bringing us closer to understanding how it might be possible. But with great power comes great risk. Imagine the ethical dilemmas. Could altering the past cause irreparable damage to the future? What would happen if someone used time travel for personal gain, or worse, to change crucial historical events? The consequences could be disastrous. Could 2025 be the year we crack the code of time travel? Tempting as it may be, it is also a terrifying possibility. The Simpsons might have been right in suggesting that meddling with time is far from simple, and the risks might far outweigh the rewards. Number 2. Outbreak of a global health crisis. The Simpsons have always been quick to predict the unthinkable, and one of their most chilling forecasts was that of a global health crisis, mirroring the COVID-19 pandemic. In the episode Marge in Chains, a virus from Asia spreads around the world, causing chaos and widespread panic, exactly what happened in the early days of COVID-19. In the real world, the threat of another global health crisis is not unlikely. Antibiotic resistance is growing, with some superbugs becoming nearly impossible to treat, while emerging diseases such as monkeypox, avian flu, and even new strains of COVID continue to make headlines. Health experts warn that it's not a question of if, but when the next pandemic will strike the planet. Global interconnectedness facilitates the rapid spread of diseases, and on top of that, climate change and habitat destruction are bringing humans into closer contact with wildlife, increasing the risk of new zoonotic diseases emerging. Could 2025 be the year we face another global health crisis? Given the growing number of threats, The Simpsons might have hit the mark. Another viral outbreak could be just around the corner. Number 1. A devastating world war. In one of the most terrifying episodes of The Simpsons, the world is plunged into a massive global conflict with devastating consequences. Although the show often treated this theme with humor, the reality of a world war is anything but amusing. As tensions rise around the globe, the prediction of a devastating world war seems closer than ever. Currently, we see latent geopolitical tensions that could easily escalate into something far more catastrophic. The conflict between Russia and Ukraine, for example, demonstrates how a regional war can have global repercussions, especially with NATO's involvement. Similarly, tensions in the South China Sea, the Middle East, and even between the United States and China are creating a precarious global scenario. These conflicts have the potential to spread, dragging more nations into an all-out devastating war. The rise of nuclear weapons, coupled with economic sanctions, arms races, and shifting alliances, adds another layer of complexity. Countries are more armed than ever, and the risk of a miscalculation or aggressive move sparking war is a very real concern, especially considering that nuclear weapons remain in the arsenals of major powers. Could 2025 be the year we witness a large-scale global conflict? If these trends persist, that possibility is very real. Yet there is still hope. Diplomatic efforts, international cooperation, and a shared commitment to peace could avert this catastrophic scenario. It is crucial that world leaders prioritize diplomacy and conflict resolution to prevent the kind of destruction that The Simpsons so ominously warned us about. And that's it. The Simpsons, with their wit and humor, predicted spine-chilling events that might come to pass in 2025. Which of these predictions seems the most plausible or unsettling to you? Though alarming, these forecasts also remind us of the importance of staying informed, being prepared for challenges, and committing to building a better future. May we, with awareness and action, avoid some of these grim paths. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more content that makes us think.